Hi everybody, this is Meeples on the Ground, and we're testing out some new camera gear. So let's go ahead and vlog this. Vlog it with all that we can vlog. Vlog! And games. All these games. They're so pretty. Alright, until next time, bye-bye. So hey Sarah, what did we go ahead and do today?
We went to the thrift stores for the first time since before the lockdown, and we were safe. We wore masks, we sanitized our hands every time we came or left a store, and it was fun. I love to thrift, and I haven't been out very often since the lockdowns were in place. They've let us go out in our area as long as we wear masks. So we went out today to 3 different thrift stores, I think, and we brought home tons of stuff, but we saved tons of money on all of it too. So I've recently started to bead loom again. I used to do this when I was a teenager, and I haven't done it for a long time. This is just a little practice thing that I was doing, but these beads are very expensive, and so I had ordered some online, but I was pretty frugal about it because I don't want to spend a ton of money on a project that I'm doing just to kind of keep myself from being bored. So I ordered some online and they did come, but when we went thrift shopping today, I found a bunch of beads for really, really cheap. I've got all of these beads right here, and most of them were 25 cents for an entire bag of lovely beads. So tons and tons and tons of beads to bead with. I also got some containers. The findings in this I did pay retail for, but the container, the storage container, I got for 50 cents at the thrift store. I got this storage container and this storage container for 50 cents each at the thrift store. This one is filled with even more beads that I got at the thrift store. I paid $8 in total for all the beads that you see here. We also got some books. We just got this cute little Star Wars Choose Your Own Adventure book. I picked up some vintage Nancy Drew books. I used to read Nancy Drew books so often in middle school that the kids started to call me Nancy Drew. I loved Nancy Drew books. And I used to read the yellow ones, but the Nancy Drew files are vintage at this point too. So we found this 5-book set at the thrift store as well as a copy of The Pilgrim's Progress. And we found some stuff for our games. We found these awesome wooden card holders, a set of 4 for like, what, a couple bucks, I think?
Yeah.
And we've been looking for a set of card holders for a while, but we either didn't want to pay the prices that we saw, or we didn't really like the design or that kind of thing. So a couple bucks for some card holders, some wooden, nicely manufactured card holders is awesome. We also bought some wooden bowls. We've got 3 of these little wooden bowls here and 4 of these bigger wooden bowls. They need to be cleaned, but we use these for bit bowls in our house. And we did the same thing. We got these glass ones. I think we have 5 of this type and 2 of these. So we've got 2 that look like that and 5 that look like little sherbet dishes or whatever.
So where did we get this idea for the bowls?
We went to Game House, which is a board game cafe in Los Angeles. Yeah, I think, right? Los Angeles, I believe. We went there with Mike Murphy of the Brothers Murph, and we were hanging out, we were playing games, we were eating the food there at the cafe, and while we were just kind of looking around and stuff, we saw that they had this like divider in the middle that divided like the area where you could get the food and the area where you could play the games. And on top of that divider, it was just stacked with tons and tons and tons of little dishes like this. And they were bit bowls that you could just grab like as many as you needed and use them while you were playing and then put them back when you were done. And when we got home, we were like, we gotta get us some bit bowls. So we thrifted a set of wooden bit bowls that we have and they're nice, but sometimes there's not quite enough. So this will be nice to have extras. I was a little hesitant about the glass ones at first before we bought any BitBowls at all. I was like, I don't want to get glass ones. Glass ones are everywhere, a dime a dozen, but I don't want to get glass because I was afraid that if we broke it in the game room, that it would be like disastrous. But we've played with the BitBowls that we have now for quite a while at this point, and we've never like thrown them at the wall or anything like that. So I feel like glass is probably safe and it'll be fine. So we got some stuff for the game room, and then the largest collection of stuff that I think we got are these games. Now before you throw shade, because they're classic games, we didn't buy these to play. We bought them because I have recently done a crafting project. And I would show it to you, but I've actually already shipped it to someone who bought it for me. I did a crafting project where I took pieces of an old Clue game that was missing a bunch of pieces. I took some of the pieces that were left and I made like a shadow box out of those pieces, and it came out really, really cool. And a lot of people thought that it was really neat, and I thought that it was really neat, and I had a fun time putting it together. So I was like, you know what? I want to do that some more. So we went out to these thrift stores and we just bought a bunch of classic games. They were $2 or $3 a piece. And I don't care if they're missing pieces because I don't need them to have all the pieces. So it was fine to just, you know, grab it and not worry about whether it was complete or even what condition it was in, really. So we grabbed some classic games. We also grabbed a couple of neat things. We got a domino set, and then we got this cool thing, which is a metal set of miniature dominoes. And then we bought these frames. So this one right here is just like a normal shadow box frame. I'm gonna remove this shell inside and this thing here, and I'm gonna use it as a shadow box frame so that I can shadow box with these games. But these were, I got an excellent deal on these. I got them for $1 each. And so we bought 10 of them. And these are not very deep shadow boxes. But they're really cool because they are shadow boxes and they are magnetic along the bottom here. So these two frames actually snap together with magnets that are inside the frame. So I would like to try out some creative ideas that I have with shadow boxing some of these vintage games that we've got here, or classic games. And I got cheap frames and cheap games, so if it doesn't work out or I don't like the way it turns out, that's okay because it didn't cost much at all.
Awesome. What's going on, everybody? This is just a morning at the Meeples and Ground headquarters. We're gonna go ahead and make some delicious food while we play Japor. So we got Japor all set up, and then we have Sarah over here miking it. It's awesome. I set up the game, she makes the food. Sometimes we switch. Oh, nice. Oh no, technical difficulties. But yeah, so this is pretty awesome, and I can't wait to get in. This is one of our favorite 2-player games, because it's only for 2 players. But again, we really love it, really enjoy it. I'm thankful that I have such an amazing partner to play games with.
Me too.
All right, well, we'll get back and see who is the victor, because it's anyone's game. Da-da-da. And now we have the bacon going in to be amazed and glazed. Yeah, amazed and glazed. It's the thing. Delicious. Delicioso.
Okay, come back in 15 minutes.
15 minutes. 50 minutes. And now we game.
What didn't sizzle? Sorry.
It's all good, but it looks delicious. Delicious as my future victory. Yeah. It's looking good. So we just finished, and now we're scoring. I have a certain number of points, but I'm waiting for Sarah so we can determine points. I don't know. It seems close in Japor. This is only our first round, so we might do more. Or we might just do one round and then eat glorious cheesy.
For breakfast.
And here it comes. Oh boy. All right. Awesome. So we'll come back once we get scores, and then we'll claim a victor and a loser. Which might be me, because I don't know what she has yet.
Let's see.
Okay.
All right, so I got the camels,
Yes.
which is 5, 6, 7, 17, 22, 25, 28, 32, 7, 42, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 57, 58, 61, 63, 65, 72, 79.
I only had 74. I got whooped. It was close though. 5 points, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The camel bonus.
The camel bonus. And I gave up a lot of camels at the end. Good game. Really enjoy it. If you're all looking for a good two-player, Japur is a fabulous two-player and has a fabulous two-player app for, I think, Android and iPhone. I don't know. We don't have iPhones, but oh well. Well, check it out. All right, until next time. Talk to you guys later. All right, everyone, what's going on? We are going to go ahead and start playing board games now on this board game vlog. Well, actually, we've already played Japur, so.
Oh yeah, we did while we were making breakfast.
Yep. So now we got the Bob Ross, The Art of Chill. So yeah, we got that going on. And Sarah's setting up for us. She's amazing at that, and she's awesome. Appreciates her. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and look at all of the stuff we're going to be playing while I'm off. Yes, we're going to attempt all of these titles, and we're excited. Some we know, some we don't know, some we have played before, and others we are just getting to for the first time. Most of them we've played like once or twice, so we want to play them again because we just want to get a better feel for them. And, you know, get back to just getting all that gaming in. All right. Well, now we're going to just go ahead and move back along to our Art of Chill and hope you're all chilling during this time. All right. Talk to you guys later. All right. Well, we just finished Bob Ross, The Art of Chill, and I was not the chillest. Sarah was blue, and she had quite the lead on me.
Very chill.
Yeah, she is very chill. She is like the chill. So chill. And yeah, we already loved this game. I you know, the IP scared me at first because I was kind of like, oh, someone was just doing a money grab thing with Bob Ross. And but no, it's pretty good. It's really, yeah, it's really enjoyable. You got all the little colors, and yeah, you have the brushes, and the sweet candium orange and the sap green. Cadmium. I probably said that wrong because Sarah's correcting me. So yeah, but yeah, this is a great game. Really enjoy it. If you haven't played this yet, we highly recommend it.
Yeah, give it a try. It's simple, but it's a lot of fun. And if you ever enjoyed watching Bob Ross, then there'll be some nostalgic moments in it for you. And the artwork is gorgeous because all of these paintings that you're trying to paint, they're double-sided, and there's a whole bunch of them, and they're all artwork that he actually painted on The Joy of Painting, which was the show that he was on. So
nice. Well, now it's on to our next game. Whoa. What's going on, everybody? This is going to be our next game is Skulldug. Looks like a really interesting game. We've played it a few times, but a while ago. So we're going to go ahead and start with some of our brave explorers that we have here. And then we got backup explorers that are waiting their turn to be reinforcements in case anyone needs it. And then we got, nice cards, little starting cards. I got my trusty whip and my questionable rations. Yeah. So, it's a little game where we go ahead and we will expand with some rooms. And rooms will have little dangers, like this card will have a danger. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Are you excited, Sarah?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I remember liking this one, but we haven't played for a long time, so.
Yeah, so we'll catch up with you guys and show you all the craziness after we have played. And maybe I can redeem myself, because I'm just on a losing streak here.
Which will continue.
Trash talking has begun. All right, here we go. Sponsored by BGG. Not really. So this was my victory. It was awesome. It was great. I came through a wall like a ghost and murdered. This is terrible, but yeah. So this is like how it kind of looks afterwards, which is you're looking through everything, trying to find treasures and trying to evade monsters and traps. And trying to pick up helpful items. But yeah, so I like it. You say it's more of a roll and move.
To me, it felt more like a roll and move game. I don't feel like players have a ton of agency, and I feel like there's an illusion that you do, but it's really just that the cards and the tiles make it a modular board. But I don't think that actually increases player agency all that much. So it felt a little bit basic to me. I do think discovering the passages as you go through the cave is really cool. And it was fun. It's a game that pulls you into the theme. I just felt like it was a little lacking in player agency, which is kind of, I prefer player agency in a game over just kind of like doing what the game directs you to do. But it was still cool.
Yeah. Still like it. It was one to keep, but, it's a nice one to show possibly new gamers and getting them into the point of like getting into more, I guess, hobbyist games and more beyond Monopoly.
Actually, I feel like it would be really good for that because there is kind of a lack of player agency in my opinion, but it introduces terms like action points and having multiple choices of what you can do on your turn. And it still feels like all those choices end up not really amounting to you having a ton of player agency, which seems counterintuitive, but that's the way that it felt for me. But it would probably be a good stepping stone from just roll and move games into a little bit more like harder core hobby games, just because it starts to introduce the terminology and even some of the aspects of like more hobby games instead of just like roll and move games. So
awesome. So yeah, that was Skulldug. Finally, I pulled a win out of this. We'll see what happens in the next game. Dun dun dun! Dun, 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 dun. All right, Sarah. So what's the next game that we're moving on to?
We are going to play Palaces. It is a card game in which we are trying to win bids in order to kind of build a deck and then also build some towers. Each player builds 2 towers, and at the end of the game, the player who has the tallest of their towers, the shortest tower of their 2 towers, if it is taller than the other player's shortest tower, they win the game.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to explain it more once we get back to the end show, like basically, what that looks like. But this is, set up. We got our little cool card holders and some cards that we have to bid on. And then we got the pieces to the tower, the pieces to the puzzle. All right, well, we'll get back to you guys about Palaces in a little bit after I'll probably get destroyed. And I'll be like, I have 20 size towers. And I'm like, I only have like 5. All right. What's going on, everybody? We just finished Palaces. And it was interesting. The gameplay was kind of a lot to remember and pay attention to. What were your thoughts, Sarah, as we played?
Yeah, it was interesting. So it's a bidding game, and a bit of a deck builder, just a tiny, tiny bit of deck building. And then it's this sort of puzzle that you're trying to build these palace things or these castles or whatever. And the trick is that you have to build your palaces equally. So I started with a silver over here, so I had to build a silver over here. And then same thing, I had another silver, so I had to build another silver. Then I built a blue, so then I had to build another blue. So you have to build evenly. You can build, like, obviously this one I built up quite a bit more than this one. But whichever of your castles is the shorter at the end of the game, that's the one that counts for your win. So I had a castle that was 3 tall. So Nick beat me with a castle that was 1, 2, 3,
5,
6, I believe, or 5.
It was 5 because it was the shortest one.
So his 5 beat my 3, and I think it was really interesting. There's not a ton going on here, but what is going on is interesting. There's the bidding, which I think is probably better in a 3 or 4 player game. Because it's a closed bid, so each player bids, and then whoever had the higher bid wins. You can't like keep going back and forth. So the active player chooses which card that we're going to bid on, and then the other player bids, and then the active player gets to bid as well.
He's also the last player, so if it was ever more players, it would just be, if there were 4 players, the 4th player would go first, and then the active player would be the one to bid last.
Right. So the active player chooses which card we're going to be bidding on. Then we complete the bid. Whoever wins the bid gets the card and gets to do anything that the card that they won would have allowed them to do. Plus anything that the cards that they used to complete that bid would have allowed them to do. And then they add that card to their hand. And based on sort of the rank of that card, there are 4 ranks, gold, silver, crystal, and jade, in that order. Based on the rank of that card, other players would get to draw cards into their hand. And that's the only way you can get cards into your hand. So if you lose a bid, you do get to draw at least 1 or 2 cards, which can make up for, not getting the card into your hand. And so there's that aspect of the deck building where the cards that you're bidding on go into your deck, and then there's the aspect of the bidding where you can bid like anything that you have in your hand, in any combination, and then there's sort of deciding when you want to strategically lose a bid, so that you can be the one to draw those cards. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. I don't know that I had like super fun playing this game, but it was interesting. So there were some interesting decisions to make. There were some little puzzles to solve, and it was more challenging than I expected, which is nice. And it looks good. It's a good looking game. It's well produced as well. So
yeah, there's definitely a lot going on, but a lot to take in. So yeah, Palaces by Jeff. How'd we? Oh boy,
it's Sayadek.
Sayadek, Jeff Sayadek. But yeah, it was good. Just something we'll probably have to play again with more people next time.
It's a 3 to 4 player game. I think I would prefer it maybe at 3.
Maybe at 3.
Maybe at 3.
Okay. I might like it at 4, but who knows? All right, on to the next game or next part of our day. Probably more games.
Walking the dog.
Walking the dog, then more games. All right. Bye. Hey everybody, we are still tearing up in games, and we are now moving on to Downforce. A nice little racing, somewhat feels like a programming game. A little bit. Because you get all the cards that will give you, the how fast you want cards to move. So, yeah. Can't wait to play it. Sarah's checking a rule for us because she is our rules queen. Or teaching queen, really. She's my in the flesh Rodney. Because she's really good at teaching. It's what she does at conventions and for a while just with in town and out of town. But yeah, So let's go ahead and get this started, and we'll come back to you guys and see who won and who has the most money, because that's how you do. You first buy the cars, and then you see how much money you have left over, or whatever they made you. So, I don't know. I paid a lot of money for my cars. I know Sarah paid.
I paid even more than you did.
You only paid four million more than I did. So, that's
how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we like the game. It's all right. It's
He likes the game.
yeah.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, it's first time. It's okay, I enjoyed it, but I don't know. They're new. We'll see how many times I can play this game before I'm like, all right, I need to move on now. But yes, we are gonna get into it. Downforce, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Sarah, where we just finished our game of Downforce, and she spanked me. She spanked me good, and
I raked in a cool $33 million.
And I raked in a cool $18 million, because, that betting, the auction money, it has to go somewhere. You can't just spend money.
I bet on myself, and then I made it happen.
Life story, people. Let's go. Yeah. I think the most frustrating thing about this whole game is when someone else can move the people you're betting on, the cars you're moving, and it's just frustrating. It's like, don't touch my stuff. But in this game, it's meant to go ahead and touch your stuff. So unless you have what Sarah has, an ability where they can't touch your stuff, and it's like, ugh.
Don't touch my stuff.
Don't touch
I'm
my
the
stuff.
one who can touch my stuff.
So this is Downforce. It's okay.
I had fun with it this time around. Sometimes I get kind of, I don't know, I don't really like racing games all that much. But I think that this is one of the best racing games I've ever played. It's fairly light, but there's still a very competitive edge to it. Mechanically, there's not a ton you have to worry about.
Except when people touch your stuff.
Except when people touch your stuff. I think the only thing that I really don't like about it, other than just the general annoyance of getting shut out of an area and then you can't move, you can't get around people who are blocking your path. Other than that, which is kind of just well, that might really happen in racing. The only other thing I think I don't like is sometimes it can be very difficult to know what the best thing to do is. So if you're trying to maximize, your turn, you have 7 cards that you can look at on your turn in the 2-player game. You have 7 cards that you're looking at, and each card has different colors on it, and each of those colors can move a different number of spaces. And so sometimes there's no obviously clear, this is exactly what I could do to be really good for me. So sometimes you're just kind of staring at everything, trying to be what's the best thing to do? I don't really know. I think that's my only real frustration with this game. Otherwise, I think, like I said, it's a fantastic racing game. Racing games aren't always my favorite, but this one's fun.
Yeah. Yep. Except when people touch your stuff. I don't like when people touch my stuff in games. Leave it alone. Sometimes it's okay, but other times I'm like, meh. All right, well, until our next game, we will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, now we are back to another day of gaming, and we're starting off today with Intel Hack or Be Hacked. It's a nice game. You're trying to go ahead and get 3 adjacent hexagons that you've claimed, and the way you claim them is you take some of these cubes and you place on the board. So if Sarah was to place here, then I'd have to go to the purple and place there. And then so you're going back and forth all over the map, and you're trying to go ahead and get... Yeah, that would be a little bit good. So that would be claiming it. You do it that way, or you have it straight and you claim it. And what you're trying to do is to get that to all 3. So that's where it is. We like it. It's a 2-player. It's pretty fun. And what do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, I like it. It's a 2-player area control game with some abstract strategy elements to it. I think that it's a solid little game that doesn't overstay its welcome. And it's pretty simple to explain, but the depth of strategy is still there, so that's nice.
Awesome. So we'll get back to you guys after we see who is the victor and who is the loser. But it's not all about winning and losing. Yep. Bye.
Bye.
And all right, and our winner is nobody.
We tied.
We have tied in this game, so it's it's just
Nick had 2 adjacent spaces that he controlled. I had 2 adjacent spaces that we controlled. But we could not manage to pin down a third, either one of us. We each had one over here, but they have to be adjacent to the ones that you control in order to win. And we were not able to pull that off.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight game. I gave her like a couple first, but like that was just to kind of keep her in a corner.
Thanks.
But that didn't work out. It was like total fail. But yeah, so this is Intel, a nice little 2-player game. It's pretty awesome. If you're interested in a 2-player game where you're going whacking, your minds together to see who can outsmart the other, it's a good little game.
It's really easy. There's a white player and a black player, and on your turn, you take one of your cubes and you place it into a space, like so, and that indicates which colored hex the other player can play in. So if I do this, then the black player does that, then the white player does that, then the black player does that. And the whole point is that you're trying to get 3 in a row, or 3 like this in any way. And if you can do that, then you place a control marker on that hex, and you're trying to get 3 adjacent hexes, or 3 connected hexes, under your control. That's the whole game.
Yeah, it's a nice quick game. It's small, nice for traveling and eating at, well, you eat at places, not right now, but when that's an option again, you can take this to your local diner and enjoy a game and a sandwich. All right, well, we're going to get to a next game. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.